Hold up, hold up, hold up. It's that boy G Plans. Don't give a damn. He cooler than a fan. Walking real tall. Some say he's a man.
My thing was at 16 years old to be in front of that judge, man, and that verdict, boom, life in Angola, like, what feeling at that time? Like, what feeling overcame you? Like, was your parents there?
Man, and it was like this, bro. Like, I got a big family, right? And so some of my brothers and sisters is old enough to be my mother or father. Like, that's how far removed we are. You know what I mean? I got 11 siblings. My dad was born in 1924, and so so by the time I was a teenager, my family, my mother and father was kind of like elder, was in their 50s and stuff like that. So I had a lot of wise wisdom that was in Jews that they imparted in me, but I was so young and immature at the time, I didn't know how to properly digest that valuable information that they was giving me. That's why some people try to say that, hey, man, well, it was your parents' fault. But even coming up, man, I never allowed that stigma to go on my family, man. Mm-hmm. Even though I was a kid and a child and it's easy to point the fingers at people, my family did the best they could, you know what I'm saying, with the resources that they had available. Just like your family, just like anybody, they did the best they could. So I don't blame nobody for my predicament or my situation. I blame the choices that I made from the options that I had before me. And, I was faced with decisions that I wasn't prepared to make. And so when they sentenced me to life without parole, it was just that natural inclination within me that just didn't accept that because of the teachings from my mother and father and previously. Mm-hmm. It was just that, man, you're not about to what? I looked at him, so here it is, a white man. The majority of the courtroom is white. The victim was white. And that's what a lot of people don't understand about my circumstances, my situation, man. When black people was being murdered at that time, in New Orleans and the surrounding areas, it was what it was, But if somebody white got murdered, no matter what their background was, I'm not victim bashing or anything, but this guy was a criminal. This guy was a drug dealer who had kids selling drugs for him. But yet you never heard that in the media. They never want. But if a situation occurred, the first I could be trying to do something, I could be trying to save somebody. But if the perception of that is something else, the first thing they're gonna do is bring up my past. Oh, he just got home from murder. That's the first thing. That's why I'm on this mission to let everybody know about that non-unanimous jury verdict, man, because I believe I deserve a fair trial. All right, there's a guy named Cardell Hayes. We call him Bell. I was in prison with. And he had a situation with Will Smith, a former Saints football player. And he had a road rage situation. We don't know what all happened.
He just got out like a day ago.
He just got out, man. Yeah. And he's self-defense, man, with his situation was. Mm-hmm. And that situation now has the opportunity to play out fairly in the courts, because if he was convicted in any other state, he would never been convicted. But then when those two juries found him not guilty. And here it is. I'm sitting here in front of you today. Since 1994, I've been considered a convicted murderer when two jurors found me not guilty. And so to see Bell get his new trial, man, that's inspirational to me. Because we talked in prison, man. I looked over his case, because I worked in the law library. I educated myself when I went to prison. I had two choices: continue to be a stupid thug, an ignorant ass nigga, and this motherfucker letting these people fuck over me just because I stand up and represent myself, but it was quick to throw me in that cell. Every time I stood up just to represent myself as a man, when I said, hold up, wait, I'm not going in that field. And they still got the field today in Angola.
The cotton field?
Yes. It's still there today. Now they try to eliminate us from picking cotton and let the machines do that now. But from day one, I refused to pick cotton. I went to the dungeon.
That's the hole, right?
Yeah, in the whole solitary confinement. We call it the dungeon in Angola. Some people call it solitary confinement. Some people call it administrative segregation, whatever you want to call it. That's where I spent a lot of time of my life just for asking for the right thing, just for asking to be respected. An officer could come on the walk and say, hey, get the fuck out the walk, move over there. And all you got to say was, all right, officer, I'm willing to comply, but, man, you ain't got to talk to me like that. So I'm a man just like you a man. You go home to your family. I got a family out there that love me, too. Just because I'm in prison don't mean I'm a piece of shit, bro. I still deserve some type of human rights or civil rights, so you had some that took that position to just come and just try to use that power to belittle anybody that was incarcerated. And then you had some of those officers, white as well as black, that came there just to do their job, man. They were like, hey, man, my job not to come here to punish you. My job is to ensure the safety of this institution and go home. You know, and so I commend those officers. A lot of white people spoke for me when I went up on the parole board. A lot of people spoke for me to the judge in order for him to commute my sentence from life without parole to life with parole. So I'll be the last person to come on here and talk about all white people ain't shit or all white people racist. Nah, I know some white people that came to bat for me, put their name on me, that helped me come out here today, and I salute them. You know, so it's never just a black and white thing in that perspective, but I respect the fact that they supported me knowing that I'm going to tell the truth, that I'm going to be real about whatever the situation is, and they respect that.
Now, I want to read some stats. I was looking up, hold on, where I'm going to put them up right here. Okay, today, right now, the state of Louisiana, right? Healthcare, ranked 46 in USA.
You only got 50 states.
46, all right. Education, number 48. Economy, number 47. Opportunity, 48. Stability, 42. Crime and correction, 50. Natural environment, 49. The state of Louisiana. How did you feel about that?
The last stats that I had before I came home, Louisiana had the highest incarceration rate and the lowest graduation rate. That should tell you something right there. Everybody always looking at the effects. Let's start looking at the cause of this shit. That's what we need to start focusing on. Everybody was talking about the problem. Let's start looking at the solution. If you're not talking solutions to me, then I know one thing, that you just gibbering. You just playing for the camera. You just playing for the microphone. You just trying to pimp the struggle. You know, just like a lot of fake preachers try to pimp the Bible. You know, you got people right now that pimp the struggle. They come in, they see the situation and their opportunities, and they seize that particular moment. And so, and that's something that I shy away from. I had all kind of opportunities since I come home, man, with these offers here, and these all with book offers and things of that nature there. And it's like, my vibe, man, I grew up in Angola, Louisiana State Penitentiary. I didn't have a playbook, you know, on how to survive that place as a child and make sure you stay a man. You know, because at that time, bro, you couldn't fist fight with nobody if they mess with you about your manhood. You had to kill them. You had to fuck them up. If you ain't put that knife on them, they call that love licks. You had dudes that was fuck. If you fight somebody that fuck with you about the ass, somebody be like, ooh, that boy weak. You know what I'm saying? So you can't just fight nobody when they disrespect you to that magnitude. You have to kill them or try to kill them. And if you don't, then you go continue to be a victim. You know what I'm saying? So I grew up in an abnormal environment. That's why I'm telling you, bro, you gotta slow me down a little bit. I got a lot, you know.
So as far as, you know, the manhood part, like what was your first day like? Like, did you go in there fighting?
Well, see, it was like this. See, it's a process. See, prior to me going to actual Angola, I had to go through the jail system, you know, the parish jail. You know, see, like all other states got counties, and in Louisiana they got parishes because it was a Catholic state, right? And so they don't call it counties, they call it parishes. And so when you go to the parish, it was bomb on site, blast on site. You know, you just pick a nigga. That's what you just say. Just pick a nigga because you got to prove. Ain't no going there, talk about, hey, man, I'm going to just mind my business and try to get out here. Nah, man, nobody trying. You came to jail and you black, that mean you was in the streets, nigga. So if you was in the streets, nigga, you got to come and prove yourself. So it was slinging iron, fighting, whatever it is, hitting niggas in the head, whatever you got to do. That's what it was about. So it wasn't no trying to come and be nice and thinking you gonna just mind your business and go. No, man. Them niggas was about that foolishness. You had to be about that foolishness.
What was like one of the? I mean, I know you saw a lot of worse stuff, but like, as far as did anybody try to try you?
Man, well, see, I didn't give him a chance. Bro. That was one thing. That was the key to my survival in prison. Don't give nobody opportunity to play with you. You set the record straight out the gate. So when I went on that tier, the first day I went to use the phone. I don't know that about you got locked down at certain times for shift share. I don't know about none of this. Not worrying about none of that. I seen the phone. I finally get the opportunity to use the phone. I get on the phone. I'm trying to make some contact to the outside. I've been in a holding tank for 3 days. When you first come to jail, they got to hold you in a holding tank and all that foolishness. I was already upset because the DAs had me sitting at the not the DAs, the police officers. Let me make sure I correct myself. I don't want to incorrectly speak. And the police officer like, hey, we know you did this. We don't have nothing on. We don't have no murder weapon. We don't have no eyewitness, no murder weapon, no eyewitness. Nobody was saying nothing. So they told me, if I don't want to tell on myself, just pick a nigga. Just they didn't say nigga, but they said just what about him? Just say, anybody in the neighborhood that they didn't like. They just wanted me to throw that on that person. And I'm like, what? I'm not doing it. So you at 16 years old, I had, enough integrity within myself. Like, man, I'm not about to throw somebody, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of people that I did interviews with, they be like, man, I don't know a grown person that wouldn't have took that deal, man. Oh, just lie on somebody? Yeah, I mean, people would have did. So my integrity based on what my mother and father taught me was that, man, my daddy told me one day, man, don't let somebody be bad enough to make you lie. Don't let somebody be bad enough to make you lie. And if you choose something, you chose a particular lifestyle. I chose to be in the streets, man. I got a nephew that just a year younger than me. I told you I got brothers and sisters that's old enough to be my, you know what I'm saying? So I got a nephew that just a year younger than me. And his daddy was in prison. That's my brother, the one that died in prison. After the one that escaped. I had two brothers that died in prison. So in that situation, man, I'm like, I see my nephew ain't never been to prison, and so it's like it was just based on choices that we made, man. We could all be faced with, no matter what the trials and tribulations is, what the situation is, we could all be faced with these type of situations, but we succumb to them when we pick the wrong decisions, man.
Wow, that's crazy.
And so I'm so thankful that my parents gave me that opportunity to. They taught me not what to think, but how to think.